Welcome to my channel, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I am MJ, and I'll be your host for this little video. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about ruins. I'm going to show a technique that I picked up by watching MS Paint. And it was a technique that really caught my eye. I really liked it. And so I decided that I wanted to try it on my tinfoil builds to see. It just seemed like a technique that would really save some time instead of using the pastes that I normally do, the gesso paste, which is flour, glue, water. Sometimes I add a little cornstarch, whatever the case is. That kind of gesso, it works well with tinfoil, but it has a lot of steps to it. And it's nice to have a technique where you can just go quickly with it. And that's exactly what this technique that MS Paint was showing really seemed to do for him, right? And he was using cardboard boxes, pizza boxes, which are nice and strong. And the technique worked marvelously on cardboard. I make my stuff, a lot of my stuff, even some of my buildings, with tinfoil. I use tinfoil a lot. I'm obsessed with tinfoil and clothespins, so it works for me. This technique, I find, really enhances my builds. So thank you, MS Paints. Let's go to the craft bench and look at this little ruined terrain piece. And the point of the video is to experiment with the technique and see how it works on my tinfoil builds. The other thing, so as you know, ruins are a very important part of our gaming tables for the most part. Whether you're playing Warhammer 40K or you're playing whatever it is you're playing, sci-fi, fantasy, ruins always make it to our table. Whether it's a small piece there that helps provide cover, or a more complex ruined table, city table, which has a ton of, hiding places and places where troops can fire and all that stuff. So ruins are a very important part of our gaming experience, and it's no wonder that so many builders dedicate a lot of time to scratch building ruins and to showing their tips. All right, so let's go to the craft bench and check it out. And so you're probably wondering, what the hell is MJ doing now? And yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I don't know half the time. But here's my little cardboard piece that I cut. And I'm going to add some tinfoil for texture. All right, so I'm just going to glue up a little bit of tinfoil on this experiment. And we're going to cut a couple of windows once the tinfoil is done. And then take it from there. You'll see what I do next. Now, this is to give me a little bit of brick texture, and then I'm going to use, that's where MS Paints come in. I'm going to use a little technique that he showed in his channel. If you haven't checked out MS Paint, go ahead and do so. Great guy. I love his videos. He's really good. So, all right. So let me just do this craziness. And I'm gonna put it right here. And again, this is just an experiment. I could completely trash this if I don't like what I see. All right, we're just gonna fold it up here for now. I'll do something with that later. All right, a little bit of the cardboard shows there, so kind of misjudged that a little bit, but all right. All right, what I want is, there we go. Okay, now let's do a couple of windows and stuff. All right, and so the texturing experiment is ready. Here is the tinfoil ruin, and all I did is, once I coated my cardboard with tinfoil, cut out all the windows again, and then I take a pencil and I score my bricks in, right? Give it a little bit of a brick layout. And then for the windows, I make sure that I add little window sills and these little things here. Then I add some clothespins, okay? Because I love clothespins. I'm obsessed with clothespins as well. And then The interior, I do the same thing. I score it, add my little window sills, the trimmings around the windows. I did this little thing here, so that helps. The window sills really, really help, you know. So, all right, so we're ready for the experiment now, and we'll see. Of course, I got to add a floor here and a base, and we'll see how this works. All right, so here is the ruin, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far with the flower. Okay, excellent texturing. You could still see some of the bricks there, and really cool. Now for the floor piece, I wrap my cardboard in tinfoil and score it just like I did with the building, and then add the flower. And here on top, I add some hot glue. Okay, and then I add a little bit of kitty litter and let that dry, and then that gives it a nice ragged appearance. Okay, so this is definitely ready now to spray paint. Now I gave this a nice coating of paint, and I mean, look at that. Really cool. Really cool. It still needs a little bit of paint here and there. I'm going to let things dry before I do anything else, but I'm really liking this technique, and it does create a nice hard covering on the tinfoil and helps you to paint it better too, which is a big plus, you know. So yeah, I have a little piece of scatter terrain. We're going to do more complex builds using this technique in the future. So let me just let this dry before I go back to it. You got to give it some washes, some dry brushing. So it's still not finished. What I'll do is I'll post on the community tab, I'll post the finished product. Okay, I have my little vines here that I'm going to add as well. A few little vines once I get them painted, and a little bit of flocking powder, some more rubble down here, some more rubble, and then the floor, because it has to have a floor, so we can put some miniatures, some archers, and they can fire through those holes. Okay, so yeah, not finished yet, but this is a successful experiment. That's all I wanted, was to experiment with the flower technique, okay, and see if it worked for my tinfoil. All right, folks, yeah, good stuff. All right, so here is the piece, and I added the floor to it, and I do this with cardboard, and then on the cardboard I put some craft sticks, okay, and then leave a couple of gaps there, and add some kitty litter in between the gaps. Then of course add the flower, some more kitty litter around here to plug in some holes. Okay, we see the kitty litter up here for the edges, and a little bit more debris in there. Okay, I also use my clothespin support for the floor, and this is really, really sturdy. I mean, just that flower, oh man, it's just so good. And the spray paint seems to add, and I believe MS Paint mentioned this, the paint really kind of seals it and adds a little bit of strength to it, you know, as it dries. So excellent technique, and I think it really does help my tinfoil buildings. So here is, you know, a couple of archers. I love doing that to see how the building works, and yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is give this a little spray paint and start working on painting it. And then in the end, I have some vines that I made that I'm gonna put up here, and a little bit of greenery here and there. Okay, and then this building is finished, and I can start building some more complex ones using this technique. That's a lovely piece of ruin. You know, it really is. It's a lovely piece of ruin. What I think I'm going to do, well, next I have to finish painting, and then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to post it on the community tab. You guys will see the entire finished piece, and then in the future, what we're going to do is go back to the terrain wall and upgrade some pieces that are getting old and that I just want to redo. We're going to upgrade those pieces, add it to this collection, and then make new ruins with this updated technique. I may even do an entire city table with this technique. So we're going to explore this flower technique in a lot of different ways, I think. So again, thanks to MS Paint, great tip. And guys, I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and more building, definitely. So we'll talk very soon, and hopefully we'll have a few new tables to show you guys. Have a great one.